Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video. This is Champion 2D Rob back again, and I thought today I would do a video response to a question which I thought was actually quite a good question, and the person that asked the question was YouTuber David Plays Games Badly, and I think that's his name. I think that's the full name. Uh, in any case, I will link his video in the description box below. So definitely check it out, guys. Check the original video. But essentially what he asked was, David asked, what 10 games do we love that we discovered while we were collecting? So no nostalgic games, just games that we discovered that we love today. So I thought I would show you guys my 10 games that I absolutely adore, that I discovered long after the fact, while I've been collecting games. So to start with, I'll start with one title here. Now, this game was actually brought up in another video response to this very same question by Sinisteve. And but you know what? Part of me was just not going to include it because I thought Sinisteve brought it up. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to choose something else. But no, it's a really, really good game. And I think by me highlighting it again, I think it emphasizes how good this game is. And the game I'm talking about is Batman Returns for the Super Nintendo. And yeah, now technically I knew about this game back when I was a kid. I was aware of it. I knew what type of game it was. But the reason why I include it is because I never got to play this game until I was an adult. And when I decided to start collecting for the Super Nintendo, this game was one of the ones that I wanted to get, but I'd never played it before, never played it as a kid. And when I did get to play it finally, when I bought my own copy, I absolutely adored it. It's just such a good beat 'em up. It plays great. Um, I love the fact that it's kind of like it is a beat 'em up, but there are some sort of platforming sections as well, and so it's not a straight up beat 'em up as such. And there are driving sections as well, but this is really, really awesome. This genuinely is one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo. I mean, yeah, I just love it so much. It's if you don't have this game in your Super Nintendo collection, guys, you gotta get it. You have to get it. It's a must. It's a must. But yeah, so that is number 10. Number 9. Now this is a game that's now, despite me actually picking up a lot of games during the PS2 era, this game flew under the radar. I don't really remember how I discovered this game, whether it was from a YouTube video or I stumbled on it. I don't recall exactly how I found out about this game. But when I did find out about it, I was basically trying to track down a copy in the wild, and I eventually did find one. And this game is awesome. It really is so much fun. And the game I'm talking about is Downhill Domination. This is an awesome game. It's basically a mountain bike where you're sort of riding down a slope. But what's so cool about it is that you can actually fight people as you are riding down. So think of it as like it's Road Rash, except you're on mountain bikes, and it is so much fun. This really is a game that despite being into the PS2 for years, I didn't hear about this game until basically the end of the PS2's life cycle. So it's an awesome game, guys. I'm sure you can find it for cheap, but I definitely recommend you guys take a look at Downhill Domination. It's a lot of fun, and it's basically what I say. It's basically like Road Rash, except on mountain bikes, and it's really, really fun. So definitely check this one out, guys. Okay, so number 8, and this is again another awesome title here. One that most people won't think about when they're going through the Game Boy library. And this is a game that I just sort of took a chance on it, mostly because of the license, but I ended up really enjoying it. And it's actually one of my most played games on the Game Boy. And yeah, believe it or not, I don't know why. I just find it so enjoyable. But the game I'm talking about is The Punisher. yeah, this is a fantastic little game. Essentially, what it is, it's basically a gallery shooter. Um, apparently, there was an NES version of the game, and most people consider the NES version pretty sort of mediocre. But I don't know, like it really works for the Game Boy. The graphics, the game, sorry, not the graphics, the gameplay is solid, and the music is awesome. Like it really is. I mean, the music is top quality. The gameplay works. I find it very addictive, and yeah, it gets a lot of playtime from me. In fact, I would probably say it's my second or third most played game on the Game Boy. And if you must know, my number one most played game on the Game Boy is Tetris, and my number two is usually Super Mario Land. And this was definitely a close third. Yeah, it's a fantastic game, guys, and I recommend people check it out. I don't know why, I just find it very therapeutic. It's a fun gallery shooter type game, and yeah, and I enjoy it. Okay, guys, now we are up to number 7, and this is a game that again I don't know how I discovered this game. I don't remember. Maybe I played the arcade version first. I can't quite remember, but anyway, it's a Master System game, and it's an absolutely awesome action side scroller. And the game I'm talking about is Restan. Yeah, this is a great little arcade side scroller, and yeah, I don't know. I never played it as a kid. Not at all. You know what? I think I might have discovered this on one of the compilations. I think I was playing. Yeah, I think it might have been a title compilation on the PS2, and that's probably how I found out about it. Again, very late in the day, but then I sort of found out there was a Master System version, and I wanted to get it. But yeah, I adore this game. It's just so much fun. Yeah, I mean, you know me, guys. I like a lot of these side scrollers, and every time I discover one, you know, it's always a good time for me. So yeah, great game, love it. Okay, so let's see here, number 6, and this is going to be a Mega Drive game. Now, to be perfectly honest with you guys, I probably could have made like a top 10 video on Mega Drive games. Really, I mean, like it's. I opted to kind of like spread it out a little bit towards various systems, but yeah, it was hard deciding which game to include for this video from the Mega Drive, because I discovered a lot of great games for the Mega Drive. But the reason why I picked this game is just because I feel that most people have not heard of it, and if they have heard of it, they've most likely never played it, which is why I wanted to bring it up in this video. I wanted to highlight this particular game. I'm not necessarily saying this is like my favourite game on the Mega Drive, because it's not, but it's just one of those games that just caught me completely by surprise, and I just really enjoy it. It's just a fun game. And the one I'm talking about is Second Samurai. And essentially what this game is, if you've not played it, it's a side-scrolling, I'd say run and gun, but it's not. It's obviously a hack and slash, and you can even have 2-player co-op on it as well. It's a lot of fun. I actually just generally really like this game. Yeah, it's just I just find it very playable, and I like the idea that you play as a samurai, and yeah, it's a hack and slash game. You know, side-scrolling action, platforming. It's awesome, and the fact that it has a 2-player co-op mode as well is just like the icing on the cake. It's a really fun game, guys. I don't really know how much it goes for now. I'm a bit out of the loop when it comes to Mega Drive games in terms of what they go for now, because back when I was collecting for it, you know, they were pricey, but they weren't crazy prices. But nowadays, I'm shocked. But anyway, yeah, this is an awesome game, guys, and like I say, it's not the best game in the world, but it's just the reason. Like I say, the reason why I highlight it is because it's just a lot more fun than I was expecting it to be, and I really do enjoy it. So it's definitely worth checking out, guys. Okay, so number 5, I've got here is a game for the NES, and the game I'm talking about is Shatterhand. Now, this game right here is, oh my god, like I did not expect this game to be as good as it was when I first played it. I mean, it looked awesome, but sometimes the gameplay lets it down with some of these games. But this game is fantastic. Like, I really love this game. I mean, one thing I will have to address though is the cover art. Yeah, it's not good. It's downright awful. In fact, it's very much of its time. But the game itself is fantastic. I mean, really, it's just an excellent action side scroller beat 'em up platformer type game, and it's really is a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it. Yeah, I don't know what more to say about it really. I mean, you're basically this character who basically punches things, and it works really well, and it is just so much fun to play. And I do believe this game in Japan is based on either like an anime or like a live action superhero show, and essentially it's got like a completely different skin. So when they released it over here, because they didn't use the license of that particular property, so they kind of reskinned it and basically made it a completely original title for the West. But I don't remember what the original one is called. But in any case, this is such a fun game, guys. So if you do have a NES, or you want to check out some NES ROMs, definitely look up Shatterhand. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so sticking with this is number 4 now, and sticking with the NES. This is a game now. The first game, the previous game I just showed you, Shatterhand, was all about punching. This one is all about kicking. And the game I'm talking about is Kickmaster. And this game, again, is just absolutely awesome. And a game that I'd never heard of up until like in the last few years. And the moment I saw it, like, I had to have it. It's just like you would expect. It is a side-scrolling, action platformer type game. But whereas Shatterhand was all about punching, this one is all about kicking. So your character goes around and basically does all these high kicks and stuff, and like can jump really high in the air, gets lots of power-ups that are based around kicking, sliding, all sorts of stuff. And it's a lot of fun. It actually kind of has a bit of a Castlevania flavour to it. I guess because it's sort of like, it's set sort of like in a fantasy medieval type sort of world. But it's a really cool game, and I do not see enough people talking about it. But it really is so much fun. So definitely check out Kickmaster again if you can find it. Or check out a ROM or something. But definitely give Kickmaster a try. Okay, so number 3, I'm gonna say, is a very cool beat 'em up for the Super Famicom. And yeah, I was very lucky to get this game actually, because it was, at the time that I picked it up, like, it was quite an expensive game. I think it was selling for like over £100. But then I saw a seller in a French eBay who was selling it for 70 quid in really good nick, fully complete, and I was lucky to get it because it's an awesome game. And the one I'm talking about is Sonic Blasterman 2. And yeah, this is much better than the original Sonic Blastman. This one plays so much better. The first Sonic Blastman, unfortunately, is kind of like, it's a little bit, I mean, it's a good game, but it's kind of a bit slow. The gameplay is very slow, it's sluggish. Whereas this one, it's ramped up perfectly. The gameplay is like really tight. You've got multiple characters to choose from. It's 2-player co-op. It's just brilliant. It's a brilliantly fun beat 'em up, and I think it again doesn't really get talked much about, but I generally think it's a lot of fun, and the moves you can do are just so much fun to pull off. It's very kind of, superhero comedic. It's like intentionally a goofy kind of game, like very Power Ranger-esque, if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's so much fun, guys, and I definitely recommend checking it out. It's probably kind of a pricey title, but I still highly recommend it. It's a really good beat 'em up, and I play this one. I put this one on still to this day. It's a lot of fun. Definitely check it out. Okay, number two here. This is a game for the PlayStation 1. And again, like it's one of them weird ones where I never came across it back in the day. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, even if I had come across it, I would have straight up ignored it simply because the cover was like the dullest thing in the world, and it just appeals to no one. But the game itself is awesome, and I think it's a game that most of you have heard of. And the game I'm talking about is In the Hunt. This is an awesome shooter. For those that don't know, In the Hunt, you're basically in a submarine, and you face enemies from below you, in front of you, and above you. So it's a lot of fun, and it's very colourful. It's just a really addictive shooter. I enjoy it so much. It's just such a shame that it has such dull artwork. But otherwise, this is because if you look at this cover, like it doesn't really tell you much about the game or even how it looks. Because the game itself is really colourful and it's fantastic. It's a brilliant game by IREM, and I definitely urge people to check it out. I know it's incredibly expensive now on PlayStation. I was extremely lucky. I paid 20 quid for this game, and that was literally like at the tail end, just before it shot up, because I think about 2 months afterwards, like I was seeing this game go for about £100, and I think it goes for even more than that now. But back then I was lucky. I was very, very lucky. But this is still, like, again, awesome game. I couldn't believe I'd never seen it before, because around the PlayStation 1 era, that's when I started working. Like I got my first job when I was about 16 or 17, and that was in the late 90s. So I was earning money back then, and I was starting to buy games. So that a big chunk of my PS1 games were actually bought at that time. And yeah, and it's weird. I just never came across this game. Never saw the gameplay. I might have seen the arcade maybe briefly, but I don't know. But in any case, guys, it is well worth it. It's an awesome game. Okay, and number one, and this is for the Game Boy Advance. And again, this game, I knew nothing about it. I think I might have seen a YouTube video, one of those YouTube videos that kind of has like a list of like 20 of the best Game Boy Advance games or something like that, and that's how I kind of came across it. But then when I actually got it, I was just so pleasantly surprised by how good it was, and I love how there's so much charm to it. And yeah, I'm just going to tell you the game now. The game I'm talking about is Drill Dozer, and this is such an amazing platformer. I believe it was made by the same people that did the Pokemon series. And what this game is, you're essentially a girl that has this kind of drill machine, and it's a platformer, and essentially you have to drill through blocks. Sometimes the blocks could be in midair, but if you have to time it right, and essentially you drill through the block, but then the drill has gears as well. So some blocks are weak, which can just use like a gear 1, but others you need to drill even further, so you get like a gear 2 and a gear 3, and you have to switch gears while you're drilling. And that in itself can be tricky, because you could be like up in the air, so you have to time the button presses right so that you can switch gears quickly, otherwise you'll fall to your death or you'll fall to a lower platform and stuff. So as the game progresses, it gets trickier like that, and sometimes you have to activate lifts and all sorts of other machinery by and also fighting bosses by using the drill mechanic. But what's even cooler than that is that the cartridge itself has a rumble feature. So every time you use the drill, you feel the feedback. And also when you switch gears, the drill increases in intensity as well. So it's a really, really cool, fun game. And it's very colourful, great level design. It's an amazing game, guys. I mean, yeah, this is down and out one of my all-time favourite games that I've played. And it's definitely for a game that I couldn't believe I'd never seen, never heard of. It's an amazing gem, guys. So definitely check out Drill Dozer. So that's it, guys. That is my 10 games that I discovered while I've been collecting. And you know what? This was such a good topic. So I want to thank David for coming up with this topic. And again, I will leave a link to his video in the description box below. But I will also leave links to a few YouTubers that have done responses already. I'm gonna leave a link for Nintendo Alex, Nintendo Arcade, Sinisteve, as well as Scott Brand's Sega Zombie. They've all done some excellent video responses, guys. So I'm going to leave all their videos in the links below. So check them out if you haven't already. And thank you so much, David, for the excellent question. And you know what? I like this question so much. I think I might even do a part 2 to this as well, because there's just so many great games that I discovered while I've been collecting. So, you know, I do want to highlight more games. I think it's a great thing. I think to point out games that some other people may not realize or may have missed. So yeah, I just really like this topic. So thank you again, Dave, and thanks everybody for watching. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.